There was a time when making international calls was expensive and video calls were almost unheard of. Then came Skype, changing the experience by letting people talk for free over the internet. In just 2 years, it hit 50 million users, and by 2010, over 600 million people were using it to stay connected. But after Microsoft bought it for $8.5 billion, things started to change fast. So what made Skype a huge success? And what caused its downfall? Let's find out. In the early 2000s, long-distance communication was expensive and inefficient. Traditional phone networks charged high rates for international calls, making cross-border conversations a costly affair. Then came Skype, a unique solution that disrupted the industry by allowing users to make voice and video calls over the internet for free. Skype was founded in 2003 by Niklas Zennström from Sweden and Janus Friis from Denmark, along with a team of Estonian developers, including Adi Heinla, Preet Kasasalu, and Jan Tallinn, who had previously worked on the peer-to-peer file-sharing platform Kazaa. Skype initially stood out because of its P2P, peer-to-peer technology, which eliminated the need for expensive infrastructure and allowed calls to be made through decentralized networks. Within 2 years, Skype had amassed 50 million users worldwide. This rapid growth caught the attention of eBay, which acquired Skype in 2005 for $2.5 billion in a bid to integrate it into its online marketplace. However, despite this acquisition, eBay struggled to leverage Skype effectively within its platform. While eBay may not have been the ideal parent company for Skype, the platform continued to thrive, adding new features that made it even more appealing to users. In 2005, Skype introduced video calling, revolutionizing the way people connected online. This single feature positioned Skype as the go-to application for personal and professional communication. By 2010, Skype had surpassed 600 million registered users. It had become the primary VoIP service globally, largely because of its free calls between Skype users and low-cost rates for calling landlines and mobile phones. Skype was particularly popular among expats, international businesses, and remote workers who relied on its cost-effective solutions. During this period, Skype was more than just a communication tool, it was a cultural phenomenon. The brand was featured in major Hollywood films and TV shows, including The Social Network, Skyfall, Breaking Bad, The Office, and Parks and Recreation. It had successfully embedded itself in popular culture. As Skype continued to gain market share, Microsoft saw an opportunity to integrate it into its ecosystem. In May 2011, Microsoft acquired Skype for $8.5 billion, making it the company's largest acquisition at the time. The plan was ambitious. Microsoft wanted to incorporate Skype into Windows, Outlook, Xbox, and enterprise communication tools to compete with Google Hangouts and Apple's FaceTime. One of the biggest missteps was shifting Skype's focus from being a lightweight, consumer-friendly tool to a more enterprise-oriented service. Microsoft attempted to mold Skype into a business application, positioning it as a replacement for its existing corporate communication tool, Lync. This transition resulted in the launch of Skype for Business in 2015, a move that confused users who had relied on Skype for personal calls. Instead of maintaining a simple and efficient product, Microsoft overloaded Skype with unnecessary enterprise features, making it sluggish and bloated. Technical issues began to surface, frustrating users who had once praised Skype for its reliability. Connection problems, frequent crashes, and poor call quality became common complaints. Security vulnerabilities also emerged, raising concerns about data privacy. Meanwhile, competitors such as WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, and Google Hangouts were introducing complete video calling features, making it easier for users to switch platforms. Microsoft's attempts to modernize Skype's user interface also backfired. In 2017, Skype underwent a major redesign that introduced a feature called Highlights, which was meant to compete with Snapchat Stories. However, this update alienated longtime users, as it deviated from Skype's core function, simple and effective communication. Instead of attracting younger audiences, the redesign frustrated existing users, many of whom started looking for alternatives. While Microsoft struggled to keep Skype relevant, the market was undergoing a major shift. Business communication was moving towards platforms like Slack, which offered integrated messaging, file sharing, and third-party app support. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020, remote work increased, and companies needed a reliable video conferencing solution. This was Zoom's moment to shine. Unlike Skype, Zoom provided a smoother, more user-friendly experience, with simple one-click meeting access and better performance. As a result, Zoom's user base exploded from 10 million daily meeting participants in December 2019 to 300 million by April 2020. By 2016, Skype had already lost much of its momentum. The platform's active users had begun to decline, and its reputation as the go-to video communication tool was fading. Microsoft's corporate bureaucracy, poor product decisions, and failure to adapt to evolving user needs had turned Skype from an industry leader into an afterthought. However, the final blow to Skype would come from within Microsoft itself, with the rise of Microsoft Teams. By 2017, Microsoft had recognized that Skype was no longer the primary tool in digital communication. Instead of trying to fix the problems plaguing Skype, Microsoft decided to shift its focus to a new platform, Microsoft Teams. Launched in March 2017, Teams was designed to be a collaborative workspace that combined chat, video calls, file sharing, and third-party integrations, directly competing with Slack and Zoom. Unlike Skype, Teams was built from the ground up with businesses in mind. The introduction of Microsoft Teams marked the beginning of the end for Skype. Although Microsoft continued to maintain Skype as a consumer product, it started aggressively pushing Teams for business communication. In 2018, Microsoft announced that Skype for Business would be phased out, urging enterprises to transition to Teams. The final blow came in July 2021, when Skype for Business was officially discontinued, leaving Teams as Microsoft's primary business communication tool. At the same time, Skype's overall user base was declining rapidly. Back in 2016, Skype had around 300 million active users. By 2023, that number had dropped to just 36 million, a staggering decline of nearly 88% in less than a decade. The reasons for this were clear. Microsoft had prioritized Teams over Skype, while competitors like WhatsApp, FaceTime, and Zoom had completely taken over the consumer and business communication markets. Skype's struggles were further highlighted by Microsoft's inconsistent strategy. While Teams received frequent updates and was deeply integrated into Microsoft 365, Skype was largely neglected. Features that users had been requesting for years, such as better mobile optimization and improved call stability, were either delayed or ignored. Meanwhile, Zoom was defining the remote work landscape, and WhatsApp had become the default video calling app for personal communication. Finally, in February 2025, Microsoft made the inevitable announcement. Skype would officially shut down on May 5, 2025. We've learned a lot from Skype over the years that we've put into Teams as we've evolved Teams over the last 7 to 8 years, Jeff Tepper, president of Microsoft 365 Collaborative Apps and Platforms, said in an interview with CNBC. But we felt like now is the time because we can be simpler for the market, for our customer base, and we can deliver more innovation faster just by being focused on Teams. Skype redefined communication, making free voice and video calls mainstream. By 2010, it had 600 million users, but Microsoft's $8.5 billion acquisition in 2011 marked its decline. Poor management, bloated features, and stronger competition from Zoom, WhatsApp, and FaceTime led to its downfall. Microsoft prioritized Teams, and by 2023, Skype had only 36 million users. In 2025, Microsoft announced Skype's shutdown on May 5th, officially ending its era. Despite its decline, Skype's legacy remains. It paved the way for modern video communication. In the end, Skype walked so that Zoom, WhatsApp, and Teams could run.